Hello, hello, hello. This is E. Nicole. I am so glad to be able to come back and just share a word of encouragement with you on today. I've been on assignment. I've been unable to produce any content, but it doesn't mean that the Lord has not been speaking, because that He have. He has really been speaking, and I am so honored that He will speak to me. He will speak to you. That's just who He is. That's just what He do. He likes to commune with us. So listen, I hope you all are still at some point thinking about purpose. I miss, again, just creating content and being able to bring it forward. But today, I pray that this word will encourage somebody. It would inspire somebody to keep moving forward. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't give in. It says, be not weary in well doing, because in due season you will reap if you faint not. Fainting is not like you falling out. It's actually just giving up. Like you have no more hope for what it is that you were desiring from the Lord. I almost got a little tongue tied up in there. That you were desiring from the Lord. I don't care if it's not coming to pass the way that you think that it should. Don't you give up on what your God has told you. Believe in His promises. Make sure that you take God at His word. Yes, when He give you a word, you hold tight of it. Don't you let it go. Don't you let the word of the Lord go. Whatever He says to you, just know that He'll make good on it. But guess what? You must be fully persuaded that what He told you, He's going to allow to come to pass. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if it's not manifesting as fast as you want it to. I'm going to share a couple things with you on this video content that I hope, again, that it encourages you. Well, here's the Lord gave me a word in my spirit a couple days ago. It was success. And so, of course, we take success and we look at how the world kind of pump and prime and give it to us, you know. But the thing about it is you must, again, understand what God is saying to you about your life. So when I looked up the word success, it said, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, the attainment of fame, wealth, or social status, a person or thing that achieves desired aims or attains favor, wealth, etc. We all would love wealth. We all desire fame in some form or fashion. Right now, that's just like the flashing, thing that's going on. Fame, you know what I'm saying? Wealth, the money, the bling, the cars, the homes and all that. Listen, God said that. He said that. He said He'll even give you houses and land that you didn't even build. That's a promise of God. You can believe for that. But what I'm saying is, make sure it's in line with your purpose. When you receive the wealth, what will you do with it? Will you still do the things that's purposeful for the kingdom? Or will you just choose to lavishly live or live lavishly and ball out? Which would you do? Even when it comes to your health, having good health, what would you do with it? Would you serve? Or would you just work, get your money, keep it for yourself? Who would you help? Who would you help with good health? Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Listen, don't get caught up in the way that the world portrays it. Know that God wants us to have these things. But at the same time, know that it's for the purpose of Him. It's for His will, His glory. That's what He wants to do. He wants to get the glory. So, when I thought about that, I was like, wow, God, I'm thinking of success. I'm feeling like, I don't have the things that I've been desiring for quite some time, the money that I've been desiring for quite some time. But one thing that I understood that the Lord said, some of those successes that I've allowed you to have, don't you dare not acknowledge them. And I'm going to give you a couple. When I think about each morning that He wake me up with a new mindset, because even being in a sound mind, I remember at a point in time, even with the life that I grew up with, it was just like straight up dysfunction. Straight up dysfunction. You wake up hearing a bunch of chaos and noise. You go to bed hearing chaos and noise. I'm going to say that was probably like 2 to 3 times out of the 7 days of the week. But I mean, hey, to be able to wake up now and just to thank him for being in my right mind. I'm not depressed. I remember even being at a point in time in my life where I didn't feel like I wanted to even go on with life. Didn't want to die. I just didn't know the purpose. I was, what will today bring? What would you make of today? How do you choose this day? How do you choose to make the best of this day? That's a choice that we have. This is the day, yes, he has made. I will choose to rejoice and be glad in it. Again, I just want to inspire. So guess what? I don't think in that old way. I remember I didn't have a plan or even nothing I desired to really do in life. I was just getting up, going routine, getting up, routine, getting up, routine, cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. And then it came to the point where then he began to shift some things in me. He began to place me around some people that allowed me to see things a little differently. So the desires I had became different. And I thank God for that, because he connected me to some wonderful people that allowed me to see some things that I had not seen before, that awakened something up in me. Now, mind us, he already purposed us for something in the earth. That's why he allowed us to be born. It wasn't, live, ball, and die. That wasn't it. It was a purpose for his kingdom. So when I think about coming from the dysfunction and being delivered from that, I cannot negate the fact that I live in a renewed mind. I don't think like I once thought. So for me, wow, that's a plus. Like, that is a awesome plus, And so when I think about wanting my children to see things differently, I didn't want them to think that living in dysfunction was normal. That's not normal. Dysfunction is not normal, but we've made it to be okay because sometimes we don't want to do the work in order to keep from living that dysfunctional life. No, I had to do the work. And thank God he delivered me for purpose. Don't think this is not going somewhere, because it's literally going somewhere, okay? When I think about this right here, coming from a family line that had alcoholism and drug addiction, forgive me. Well, I'm not going to say forgive me. I'm about to just share or be transparent with myself. And I'm literally meaning this for real. It's not a joke. When I say I was drinking from the age of 5, with my grandmother, even just, riding with her on the weekends, like on Saturdays or whatever, Friday nights, and sipping a little beer with my grandmother and stuff like that, that's drinking. Call it what you want. It's drinking. And so when I think about that, and after I just realized, Lord, of years of, and it really didn't dawn on me, because to be totally honest, when I was drinking, it was all right with me. It was fine. It was so fine by me. Like, I have no problem with it. But then I realized, do I want that? Did I really, really want that? Knowing the effect that it had on my family, it had overtaken so many of our family members that I didn't want it. I began to see it differently. I remember fasting, praying, asking the Lord, and I can't even lie. I remember there were several times going on a 21-day corporate fast. I would have my stuff in the refrigerator ready. So after that 21 days, I'm ready to go back. Because I didn't understand total deliverance of it. I did not totally understand it. But then there was, and I can't even really recall the time when it became so, it became a little bit more serious, to me. And I just remember at 40, didn't drink. Like, what? You ain't drinking? 35 years of drinking? And sometimes, every day. Including Sunday. Habit. That's what I grew up around. But then I started to have a desire for something different. And I will say a lot of that changed when my relationship became deeper with Christ. I will say that. When my relationship became deeper with Christ, he changed some things in me. So I will not negate the fact that he delivered me from alcohol. That's a success. Call it what you want to. I call it success. That was a successful turn in my life. Delivered. Guess what? 9 years, not a taste of alcohol. I remember one time, some years ago, I had called myself, got this little non-alcoholic beer. It tastes too much like beer. I had only drank one. I poured all the rest of the whole 6 little bottle beer out. It wasn't about the money. It was about where I did not want to go back to. I poured them completely out, and I only tasted it. And I was like, because I was too afraid that it would awaken something in me or cause me to go back. I sing all the time, I've come too far to turn back now. Can't do it, won't do it. That's just where I am. I don't want to go back. There's so many things I don't want to go back. I just want to keep pressing forward to the things that he has for me. That's a success. Not drinking when that's what you've always known. Not drinking, living in dysfunction because that was all that you knew. But you now wake up and function and operate in a sound mind, being hopeful that the things that he promised you will come to pass. Like, our God. This was like literally something I had to, literally perversion. That was also just in my family, just perverted. And even at, being violated as a young girl led me to be promiscuous. Didn't understand it or whatever the case may be. Didn't even find anything wrong with it. Like, not at all. I'm thinking I'm loving somebody loving me. There wasn't no real love. I had to fight hard. I had to fast before the Lord. I had to literally fight hard. This was even before I understood purpose. I just knew I didn't want that in my life anymore. I didn't want it to end up trickling down to my children and their children anymore. I didn't. I had to do the work. I had to do the work when nobody knew that I was doing the work. When nobody knew I was fasting and praying. Nobody knew. In my secret time, I sought the Lord because I no longer wanted that to be a part and that it will continue to go on generation after generation after generation. I worked it. I worked the word in ways that I didn't even understand, but I just kept knowing that God was giving me more and more revelation, more and more knowledge. He was taking more and more things of desires away from me that wasn't like him. That's a success. That is success all day long, people. It's a success. So I tell you, keep pushing forward. Here it is. I've been single 5 years now. 5 years I've been single, but I've been good with me because I had to work on me. I had to get some things worked out in me that had been a part of my life for so long. So long. I had to do the work, guys. I literally had to do the work. When your flesh is calling and it's telling you, you want to do this. You enjoy this. But I wanted to follow the Spirit. I needed to. I wanted my children and their children and whoever else God connected me to that would be willing to hear my story, that he could do this for you. It took work. It took some sleepless nights. It took work that nobody saw. But I cried before the Lord. I sought the Lord. I sought him for his promise for my life. To be an example and exemplify who he was concerning my life. Our God, purpose. I will not acknowledge that success. Not even understanding when it came to low self-esteem. Guys, like, that took work. When you have to get out the thoughts in your head of things that you've heard, things that you've even thought of your own self, we know it's not easy to always change our mind or stop the thoughts that are constantly going. That's not easy. And if you say that it is, kudos to you. Because that means that you have accomplished the area that you don't have to allow the thoughts to take control of your mind. But that's not everybody. That's not everybody. Some have to fight harder than others. Like literally. Literally, some have to fight harder than others. But guess what? That's a success for me. That's a success for me to be able to to see myself how God sees me. That's a prayer I had to pray. Lord, even for my children, Lord, let us see ourselves as you see us. Lord, it wasn't as easy. Even when I just think about being in that abusive relationship. When I tell you, I was so paralyzed by fear because of the things that I was listening to my abuser tell me. The manipulation that he was using in order to keep me bound in my mind, fearful that if I leave, what would happen to me, that I would die, that I wouldn't live, that my children wouldn't have a mother, or what if he took us all out? Like, that was so not easy. But I sought the Lord, I prayed, I cried. When nobody knew, I would show up every day just like this. Every day just like this. Hurting in my soul. Spirit just, hurting, literally hurting. But God, that's a success. That's a success that even the night that I walked away, I couldn't believe that it was my feet that was literally walking. I thought I didn't know how it was going to come out. I'm going to tell you another success about that part on how God do it, because I was thinking, I'll have to leave the state where I was, because if I'm there in the same state that he is, he'll find me, he'll harass me, and he'll still try and kill me. The hand of God, the mighty right hand of God wouldn't let it be so. I stayed in the same state as my abuser. We almost sometimes still travel the same path, passing each other. I'm sure just as well as I saw him, he probably saw me. But God protected me. He said, I'll show you. I'll let you stay in the same area, and I'll still protect you. Those who hide themselves under the shadow of the Almighty, he will protect you. He will keep you. Success. That was successful. It is successful. Then, years later, God literally allowed me to move to another state. That's successful. It's deliverance. That's success. When you think about now that he's delivered me from those things, which I consider a major success, he moved me states over, like 5 states. I think I'm 5 states over from where I was, 4 or 5. A new career, like in retail. I remember God said, believe me for promotion, bonuses, and raises. I was not even getting any hours at this place when I heard the Lord speak that to me. So guess what I did? I passed it along to my children. I said, I heard God say, believe me for promotion, bonuses, and raises. I couldn't even believe it for myself. So I was like, y'all need to believe for this, because they had been on their assignment longer than I had. One day, one of the young ladies said, you need to go and see such and such because she needs to speak with you. How about, she says, I want to know, would you be willing to accept the position as a lead associate? I don't have no shame in how I worship. I do, try to slow down from the shouting, but how I worship him, I will give him glory wherever I am. Gas station, bathroom, putting trash in a big trash can upstairs. or outside, I worship him. God said, believe me. That's a success. On down to when it came to the point of my finances. You go from making one amount to making over half less of what you, over 75% less than. When I've heard people say that they have taken pay cuts, whew. But here's the thing, when I moved, I knew I wasn't going back to the one career that I had been doing for over 20 plus years. So when I asked God, and for some of you who may have listened to prior videos, I got here to the new state and I said, God, what am I going to do? I don't have a plan, but I was believing him for some big stuff. I didn't have a written plan or major goal. I heard the Spirit of the Lord said, what do you want to do? He knew all those years that I was behind that salon chair that I wanted to minister. In a sense, when I say minister, encourage women, young girls. But it was like I was still so focused and, trying to make sure that I stay behind the chair to get some money to pay my bills and all those things. That was purpose too, because it allowed me to speak to some women and young girls. Well, I didn't really do young girls, but women as I was servicing them, giving life. They're giving me life. I saw the hand of God. But then when he said, what do you want to do? Oh, I knew exactly where he was taking me. I knew. I know. I still know. God has spoken some serious things to me that I'm not letting go. I don't care that it don't look like it right now, but it's going to come to pass. It's going to come to pass because know why? Each day I wake up reminding myself, I got to do this. Do this, do that. I may take a step here, a step there. Okay, it might be a time span where I may have 3 days that I didn't work on what I was supposed to work on. But I've not forgotten the promise of God. The amazing thing is even when it came to Joseph in the Bible, Joseph had been given, the promise that God was going to make him great. But he had to go to the pit. He ended up in prison. You would have thought that, Lord, you said that I have such and such and such and such to do such and such and such and such, but I'm in prison. I'm in prison, but at the same time, while he was in prison, God was still orchestrating and causing his gift to be functioning and operable, even while he was in prison. But guess what? Joseph was very faithful to what God was telling him to do. Now, yes, Joseph opened up his mouth, shared with, the brothers what the Lord had said that they were going to be doing in reference to him. They were mad. They didn't want that to happen. So they were a part of his imprisonment or being sold off. But guess what? Joseph still kept his character. He still went about with what God was telling him to do, though it didn't look like the promise was going to come to pass. Oh my God, but he allowed Joseph to tell the dreams that would keep getting him closer and closer till he became over the palace. From the pit to the palace. I remember a messenger giving that title to that sermon. From the pit to the palace. I don't care what it looked like in between. I hear God when he said, do not forfeit the process. In this process, I am growing, I am maturing, and I pray that you will do the same thing. Don't lose hope. Don't lose sight. Don't lose focus of what it is that God has told you. He has a plan for your life. It's of good. It is not that of evil. He said he will cause your name to be great. But in order to cause your name to be great, it ain't about you. It ain't about me. It's about who he is to us. Yeah. So every day, everywhere I go, all I'm wanting to do is give life to somebody. Because you know why? In this process, he's constantly getting me to that place where he wants me to be. It's a success. It's a success. He even says, don't despise the day of small beginnings. Y'all, it's like my small beginning's been small since the beginning. But when I reflect and I look back, I still see the hand of God and how he shifted and moved, shifted and moved, shifted and moved. I purchased a 10-year planner because when I realized 10 years, if the Lord allows me 10 years, because I'm believing God for 50 more. I ain't gonna even lie. Don't worry about the age. Oh, my friend. Yeah, my friend. But it's gonna come to pass. Along the way, he says we can fall 7 times, but get back up. I remember when I lost everything. Not 1 time, 2 times, almost 3 times. Lost everything, had nothing. Nothing. But our God, he has everything. He has everything. He says, if you ask and you believe, it shall be so, according to his word. I'm okay. Though sometimes I do get a little like, God, where are you? You said. But then I have to rise up, get bold, be courageous. Your courage may not look like my courage. My courage may not look like your courage. But be bold, be courageous. Go to the Father. Hear what he says, and when he says it, be obedient to move. Be obedient to move. He has a plan for your life. It's of good and not that of evil. There's some successes that you have already obtained. Don't take them lightly. Don't take them lightly at all. Those things that he has allowed you to accomplish, give him praise, honor, and glory for it. Thank him for the doors that he shut, but also for the doors that he opens. I'm believing God for some huge things. Know why? Because he said it to me, specifically to me. Specifically to me. He's navigating me. I'm following. Sometimes I'll be really slow about the follow. Sometimes I'll be so slow about the follow. I have to, overcome procrastination. I have to overcome the disobedient. And the disobedience is not just being obedient to his will or what it is that he has shared with me, but it's going to come to pass. It's going to come to pass. He says that I shall be blessed, that I may bless. It's going to come to pass. He's allowed me to experience some things with my family that I prayed for in secret for years, that has just now come to pass when I thought, when? Man, don't lose hope. Don't lose sight. Okay? Stay encouraged. And as you journey to end up in purpose, I challenge you to even write down your successes. He says that there's sometimes we'll end up in a valley. He's there. When we can speak to the mountain and command the mountain to move, he's given us that. So I want to encourage you, by all means, count your successes. It may not be the $1 million status, because you have to be mindful of what it is that you're going to do with it. In your health, believe him for your health if it's not the best. But serve him in good health, So listen, I love you guys. I hate that it's been so long since I've been able to create content. But I felt that on my heart so much, but I wanted to just share it with you. I'll see you guys really soon. All right? Stay encouraged. Stay inspired. Make sure that you continue to give life to someone else that you may not ever totally be connected with, but just in your passing, give somebody life. Encourage them. So I love you all. I'll see you real soon, I hope. Just know God is doing some amazing things. All right? I love you all. Stay safe. If you're still not feeling so comfortable, keep masking up. And just know that success is yours. All right? God has a plan. We shall get into purpose. I love you all. Bye.